The climate crisis
is a health crisis.
We often talk about the climate crisis
It's something that's going to happen in the future.
if we don't act now.
But this is not about if or when.
It is about here and now.
My name is Stina.
My name is John Bielip.
I'm an MSF field worker.
I'm a medical water provider.
But here in Norway, I work for the city of Oslo to reduce carbon emissions and mitigate the consequences of climate change.
I'm from Olfangak, South Sudan, and I'm living here for all my life.
A part of our job as MSF is to speak out about injustice when we see it. And there is a double injustice in the climate crisis. Number one, those who have contributed the least to causing climate change are the most vulnerable to its effects. For example, South Sudan is one of the world's lowest emitters of CO2 per person, but it's one of the countries most exposed to the consequences of climate change.
With low resources to adapt.
While I was working in South Sudan last year, the country was yet again hit by severe flooding, and it's happening again right now.
The flood that happened in Olfangak is a disaster. It affects my family seriously.
Number two,
those who are historically responsible for climate change have more resources to adapt. South Sudan emits 1/10 of 1 ton carbon dioxide per person per year.
The global average is 4.7.
Norway emits
8.2 tons per person.
That is
82 times as much
as South Sudan.
How can we fight emissions that we know cause droughts, heat waves,
forest fire,
cyclones,
and flooding?
We have a responsibility both to reduce our emissions and to reduce the impact they have on the rest of the world. We all have a role to play.
But only government
and industries
have a power
to slash emissions and limit climate change.
The sign is clear. The global environment is changing now.
And the people most at risk in the future
are suffering now.
I saw how floods mean destroyed homes and more displaced people.
Most of the people here flee across the border.
Floods means being isolated without access to food or clean drinking water.
All the crop was damaged. They depend on water lily as food. When the community take water from the river, they can have waterborne disease such as cholera. Half of the population was affected by malaria.
In our clinics, we saw more patients with malnutrition, snake bites and diarrhea. MSF will respond to disasters regardless of the cause, but we cannot make up
for the failure of political leaders, and we call for action
to protect those who are most vulnerable to the climate crisis.
Because when it comes to the planet,
there is no us
and them.
One more time, in case you didn't get it.
There is no us
and them. We are all in this together.
You,
me, everybody.
As human beings,
as citizens,
as global neighbor,
as MSF, we are committed
to do our part. Around the world, our team are finding the way
to cut our own carbon footprint,
like using more solar panels,
less fossil fuel, and relying less on air travel for transporting people and cargo. And you, who live in the countries that emit the most, you have an extra responsibility. What are we going to do?
What are you going to do about it?
Use your voice.
Share this message and spread the challenge
to friends, corporations, and governments to each do their part
to confront the climate crisis.